I had gone right out of high school. I had gone to Los Angeles City College and was active in the music department there, including their stage band, which was a really good band, national recognition. And then I went straight in, went into Los Angeles State College, which is in the same place. And so I continued there, and then, but I was still involved with the band at the city college level, because I said it was in the same on the same campus. So 3.5 years into my college, the teacher of that band, and I'm sure that's how it happened, although that's can't imagine how any other reason why it would have happened. I got a call from a band leader, Skinny Ennis, who had a very well-known band in the United States, that he needed a lead trumpet player. He was going on the road for a couple of months. And I opted to quit college. And because I really wasn't in love with college, I had nothing else I felt I wanted to do and didn't know what else to do. So I've been playing casuals around town, as I had mentioned earlier. So this was a chance to do it full time. So I went on the road with Skinny Ennis for a couple of months. That was my first airplane ride. And it scared the heck out of me. I couldn't handle it. And we flew from LA to Arizona, to an Air Force base or something, where we played our first job. And I was so nervous and sick, and they took me up front into the pilot's cabin, thinking, well, maybe if I could be there, I would feel better. Well, I didn't.
How old were you?
21 years old or thereabouts. And so, yeah, it was 1951. Yeah. So, well, anyway, so I did those couple of months with him, played lead trumpet, and came back to Los Angeles, went to the Musicians Union and said, look, I need a job, you know of anything? And there was an opening in a band in Las Vegas. And so I took that job. The leader was Al Donahue. And I went there. The first act, when I got there, was in the middle of a 2-week run by a pianist by the name of Liberace, very famous in his day. And I stayed with Al for several weeks. He was sick. He needed a operation at ulcers. But we finished in Vegas 1 or 2 shows, 1 or 2 acts, and we moved to Reno. The first act that we played in Reno was, as I recall, Frank Sinatra. Anyway, did about a month there or something when Al finally decided he was going to go have his operation. And so then I found an opening in a band at a hotel across the street who needed a trumpet player for a couple more weeks, just short time, for a show that was coming in. The Catherine Dunham Dancers. And they needed 2 trumpets instead of 1. So I got that job. And finally, when that was over, I came back to Los Angeles, and then Al Donahue got well, and we got together again. And so I toured with him for another while and so forth, and we ended up in a hotel in maybe Detroit when he fired me. In fact, that summer, we were in Bermuda. The band went to Bermuda and played. And came back, and we're doing this hotel, and Al got mad at me for something. I have no recollection what, because eventually he rehired me, but in any event, he fired me. And so I came back to LA again, and went to the Union, and a band was just starting to get put together. The leader was Ray Sinatra, and he's a cousin of Frank's, and he'd been hired to be the first band going into the Sands Hotel, which was had just been built. And so we went in and open the Sands Hotel, so to speak. And the first act was Danny Thomas. And was there for a couple of weeks. And then the next act was Lena Horne. And I had decided that I just had enough of being on the road. And so I had put in my notice and I quit. And I went back to Los Angeles and back to school. And met Lee. We got married. But even before we were married, I had contracted to go back to Vegas that summer with the Skinny Ennis. So we married and got an apartment in LA, and when the job started, I moved to Vegas to have that job, and Lee would come up on the weekends. She would come up on Friday. We would spend 3 days together in Vegas, and then she'd come back and go to school for 4 days, and she'd go back. Funny story about that. She was due to graduate from college and get her bachelor's degree and her teaching credential when somebody looked at what classes she had taken and realized that she had not taken Music 1, the very most elementary music class that they offered. And it was kind of stupid. I mean, she was taking complicated classes and all this, in composition and form and analysis. Anyway, now you got to take this or the state won't let you graduate. So she went to the head of the department. Name was Clausen, I think, Ralph Clausen maybe or something. And I had known him when I went to City College, because he was been teaching there for many years. So she went in to see him and she said, look, I didn't take this class and I know I got to take it, but it's, like ridiculous because I know everything. So in the meantime, I just got married, and my husband's in Las Vegas, and I'd like to go to class a couple of days a week and then spend the rest of the week in Vegas with my husband. And he said, no, you can't do that. If you're going to take the class, you got to take the class. And so she pleaded, and but, and he's looking, Landsberg. He said, did you marry Phil Landsberg? And she said, yeah. He said, well, okay, in that case. And he let her do it.
Wow.
Because he remembered me. Oh, funny.
That's awesome.
So, like I said, she spent 4 days in school, and then she'd come to Vegas for the 3 days. And then I was there only for 2-3 weeks or whatever, and she got sick. And she'd taken her to the hospital. And so I quit, just right on the spot, and came back to LA to be with my wife. It wasn't serious. As it turned out, it wasn't serious. But anyway, so came back, and that was the end of that part. That was the summer. That was in the summer. And then I went back to school in the fall, and got my bachelor's and my credential, and already talked about that. But Lee had a job lined up, because she hadn't left for 2 years like I did. Although she was 2 years younger, she was ahead of me, so to speak. And so she had a job lined up for that fall to go to work in a junior high school in La Cañada or the neighboring city. I can't think of the neighboring city. But she got a job there, and so when the summer was over, she went to work at this junior high school. And she stayed there, I don't know, 2-3 years. And so that was my stint on the road. That was my, I don't think I left out any band leaders. I think those were the only band leaders that I worked with on the road. We went all over the country. As I said, Al Donahue's band went to Bermuda for the summer. And we finished the job like one night, like Saturday night or whatever, and whoever's in charge of such things booked the band to play at the Navy base, the United States Navy base on Bermuda. So after the tour we did in Bermuda, we played a one-nighter in Bermuda. Not as if we flew from New York to Bermuda, but we played a one-nighter in Bermuda. And then we flew back to the United States. I think we flew back and went to work at the Paramount Theater in New York. We played with Ella Fitzgerald there. Great singer, great act. And yeah, I've worked with some good people over the years. Here in Dallas, I work with Sammy Davis Jr. I work with Edie Gourmet and her husband Steve Lawrence. I work with people whose names can't come to mind. Clooney, Rosemary Clooney. And a lot of other people whose names you might know, but whose names I can't remember as we speak, because I didn't write them down. So that's that story. And we're about out of time, aren't we?
Do you want me to